Hi guys, it's Jess. Before I get into this video, I've got two really important updates. My hair is now pink. It was meant to be purple, but it's pink. Such is life. And second update is it's spring. It's been spring for ages, but I felt like I needed to update that. I'm really excited. Everything's yellow. The flowers in my garden are blooming, and it's just like great time all round. Now that's out of the way, I'm going to get into the actual video. So, we know that technology is changing everything in the world. You can now lie in bed and do your online shopping, be in your uni class, and be networking on social media all at the same time. There's also shop assistants that now look like this. So when we saw him in America, I was with a few of my non-American friends who were all understandably freaking out, and we were with one American guy whose response was, "Oh yeah, that's Marty." And I feel like that just shows how quickly everything is changing, which leads me into talking about VR, which is virtual reality. So I'm going to try not to make this video too heavy, but I think VR is really interesting because of the potential applications that it can have. And I will be right back. Okay, back. So I'm sure if you have heard of VR before, you're probably imagining one of these bad boys. And you might even be imagining me wearing it in this video. So I'm going to put it on. And for the sake of true commitment to my topic, I am going to do the rest of the video like this. Nah, totally kidding. I'm not going to do that. But this is what most people would imagine when they think about VR. So virtual reality is a branch of new media, which is digitized media. And to paraphrase Evans, virtual reality is an experience where the user becomes completely immersed in a computer-generated world. It's really similar to augmented reality, though where augmented reality combines facets of the real world and the virtual world, virtual reality is completely computer-generated. So basically with VR, you are inside this virtual world, but it depends on your degree of immersion. So it's not this kind of immersion. When we're talking about it in regards to VR, it's more so that you get so invested in the experience that you block out everything around you. So this isn't a new idea. You can be immersed in books. You can be immersed in TV or video games. Clearly not as much in uni classes. Immersion has always been a thing, but it has sort of been developed more with VR. So there are different perspectives on immersion in VR. Slater and Wilbur argue that it's a perceptive, not a cognitive illusion, which means whilst you are seeing what's in the virtual experience, you know on the inside that it's not real. Comparatively, Evans argues that with VR, it can be a more immersive experience than traditional legacy media because you've also got the opportunity for added sensory interaction. I think that VR is a bit more immersive than legacy media because if you're reading a book or watching a movie, you're invested in the plot, but you're still very much a part of the real world. With virtual reality, you've got the goggles on, you've got the headphones in, so you might still know it's not real, but you're a lot more detached from the real world. So another area which is interesting in relation to virtual reality is the topic of reality itself. So reality is quite a complex idea to start with, but it gets more complex in relation to virtual reality. So right now we have a fairly, I would say, as a society, we have a fairly rigid idea of reality being what happens in the real world and sort of distancing that from everything that happens online. Some people have argued that virtual reality is more of an alternate reality, not what happens in the real world, which I suppose is true, but I just think it's an interesting topic because it's not super fixed. There's a lot more variability when it comes to looking at reality as more of our lives go online. So VR can be used in a lot of different contexts. I feel like the most popular one is gaming, but it's also being used in areas such as rehabilitation and education. And a really interesting area that I found it's been used in is in retail. So in 2020, retailers had some pretty big shifts and they've had to adapt pretty quickly to less face-to-face shopping. So there's been an increase in online shopping, buying things over the phone, and like relying on social media to demonstrate features and benefits of products rather than doing it in person. Well, at least that's just my experience of retail in 2020. Another big development that has happened in retail is the use of VR. So in Macy's, which is a department store in America, they have brought through a program called Macy's VR, where you can create a virtual version of your room and then you can try out the furniture inside your room. So technically this might be a little bit more of an augmented reality because it uses facets of the real world and facets of virtual reality, but either way it's still got a pretty big impact. Another way that it's being used similarly in some places is with being able to virtually try on clothes. I find this really interesting because it has the potential to make a pretty big impact on the retail sphere and how shopping works. There are still some issues with VR to do with privacy. There's also issues with Prensky's digital divide, that if the world does rely more and more heavily on VR, what does that mean for people that don't know how to work it or don't have access to the internet or can't afford the equipment you need? But it is going to be really interesting to watch. So I don't have all the answers, but basically what I want to say about VR is watch this space. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.